Welcome back to the Top Rope Renegades podcast here on YouTube, TikTok, all your social media sites. Myself, Kurt, alongside RK. We just finished up watching AEW Dynamite on March 20th, live in Toronto. It was a 3-hour version of AEW, the first 2 hours of Dynamite, and then over to Rampage due to March Madness taking place this weekend on the Turner Sports Network. And just first reactions before we get breaking down into each match. RK, what do you think of the crowd? It was a sellout for AEW tonight. You're a Canadian, so is that a reflection of the Canadian pro wrestling community?
Yeah, with having it up north of the border here in Canada, it's always awesome to see the Canadian fans coming out in full force to support pro wrestling. Love to see it. What more can be said? We love our wrestling up here. And having a show in Toronto, a big show, especially with your main event being Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, it doesn't get much better than that.
The crowd was pretty electric all night, and it started off pretty electric. Mercedes Moné opening the show, cutting a promo, talks about her career.
Let me cut you off there before we get to Mercedes Moné. Can we talk about Okada showing up in the Ferrari? He's already spending some of that money he's gotten.
That's true. As they said, the Bucks did note that last time they were on screen together and said, Okada got paid a lot of money. So Okada pulled up in a Ferrari looking dapper, very dapper. And then it did lead to Mercedes Moné opening the show, cutting a promo, talking about how her career almost ended in a match against Willow Nightingale for the New Japan Strong World Championship, playing a video package. The promo was okay. It's still got to grow on me. I'm still wanting to say Sasha Banks all the time. I think she's fantastic, and I think it'll end up working out. It's just got to grow on me. I don't know what your immediate reactions were to the promo she cut.
Yes, I mean, Mercedes, what can you say? She looked great. So happy she's back in North America doing her thing. The promo was showing a little rust. She does look a little, I don't know if it's nerves or if she just hasn't been cutting those promos on a regular basis like she used to in the WWE. But I have full faith in her in pulling it off and coming. She'll just get better again. She's the CEO. She's the boss. She's one of the best. I have no worries about her ability to absolutely kill it.
And then, after she wrapped up claiming she is the CEO of AEW, Tony Khan, sorry, no longer the CEO of your company. It's Mercedes Moné's. Julia Hart, Sky Blue show up, attempting to get a jump on Mercedes Moné, and then, of course, Willow and Chris show up. It was, and it's funny that was they show up. They're the main event of Rampage, so they show up, and then you gotta wait. What was it? 3 hours? 2 hours almost?
Nearly 3 hours until we could see that main event match that they have at Rampage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that happened. Just setting the scenes for the main event of Rampage, which would take place later that night, and then we got promo. Backstage, Kazuchika Okada and the Young Bucks. I find the Young Bucks hilarious. I always have. You've been kind of iffy about them. I don't know if they're growing on you, but I thought this moment with Okada and the interviewer I found it hilarious.
Yes, I mean, the Young Bucks, always great in-ring work. You cannot knock them for that. They are the best performers in the ring. They kill it every time. I've never really personally liked their style. I found them to be quite brash and quite honestly assholes, and it really rubbed me the wrong way. But lately, I mean, they're growing on me. They're funny. They know what they're doing. I see myself absolutely loving them in short period of time here.
You said they thought they were assholes, and this was before they turned quote unquote heel. Obviously, their job is to be assholes now. That's what they're supposed to do. But I understand what you're saying. But it's got another growing on you. They're growing on me too, to a point. I enjoy. I think they make me laugh, and we'll get to another spot where they made me laugh here with the opening match. Eddie Kingston defending the Continental Classic title against the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. What was your thoughts? That was obviously announced last week, and then just thinking that okay, this is Okada's first singles match, and it's for a title.
Yeah, well, I mean, Eddie Kingston, he's just one of those guys that you can't help but love. He just has that. He's that. It feels like he shouldn't be there, but he's there, and everybody loves him for being there. He always comes out. He always puts on a great match. He has his chops are probably some of the hardest I've ever seen anybody throw. They just echo whenever they hit. I love watching Eddie Kingston in the ring. This match itself, it seems weird. It seems like a weird title match to give Okada right off the hop. I think you could save maybe a bigger title for Okada to go after, but this is just AEW showcasing his dominance. The man's been on top of the industry for well over a decade now. This match was showing what Okada is to the North American fans.
Yeah, Kazuchika Okada was New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now that he's in AEW, it's really cool to see. And when they announced the match, I was like, okay, so Okada's winning the title. I didn't think they would, put a loss on Okada yet. So Okada gets the win, wins the title, Continental Classic, in a pretty good match. It was an Eddie Kingston match, and it was literally Eddie Kingston Okada. It was that style of match. Big chops, the Rainmaker to end it, good drop kicks here and there. The point that I wanted to point, the thing I wanted to point out was the moment in the match when it cut to the back, and it was the Young Bucks sitting there next to Tony Khan, and they looked into the camera and they said, "And now we're gonna run a replay," and hit the button and the replay played. That just added to my point earlier. I love the Young Bucks.
Yeah, they're doing their job. I mean, you can't not like them at this moment. They've come back in this executive vice president role that they're really leaning to Matthew and Nicholas Jackson.
Yep.
They're killing it. They're killing it. Probably some of the best work that I've seen them do.
And then Pac showed up at the end of the match, and the Bucks added a little more. I don't think Okada expected it as he was celebrating his win. All the pyro just went off. I think that was assuming the Bucks behind that. And then Pac walked out. So kind of planting seeds for Pac Okada. Does that interest you?
Yes, I see this probably being a match at Dynasty. They're going to build it up a bit, but I can see Pac Okada at Dynasty 100%. It's a pay-per-view match. Pac has been around for a long time. He's a great wrestler. Okada, we've already touched on who he is. It'll be a big match. I really like the angle they're going with it.
Yeah, and this goes back to Pac on a Collision. Last week, he squashed whoever he was up against. He was supposed to have a match with Commander. Commander got hurt. Squashed the person he was up against, took the microphone and told everybody he's looking for trouble, and if you don't give him trouble, he's going to find it. Well, I think he just found it in the form of the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. Then after that, we get a little backstage promo. Swerve Strickland, good promo, and just issues an open challenge. Swerve's going to have a match tonight. Nothing really to touch on with that. The after that, you get Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, Renee Paquette conducting the interview, and Mercedes Moné shows up. What did you take away from that little back and forth?
I think they're still trying to find the footing for Mercedes on what her first match is going to be. I think they're strongly leaning towards Willow. Mm-hmm. I do like that Mercedes showed respect towards Chris Statlander there and offered to have her back in her match tonight if she needed it. But they are definitely they're trying to figure out where Mercedes is going to fit in. And I think the right match to start with would be Willow to get kind of that revenge angle going.
And then she just blows off Stokely Hathaway.
Yeah, I love that part. Stokely's just like, hey, what's going on, man?
Stokely is hilarious. He's fantastic at what he does. The second match of the night, and probably your favorite match of the night.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Hook versus Chris Jericho. Last week, Chris Jericho and Hook were tag team partners, and this week he wanted a match with Hook to see if Hook's really got it, and he wanted Hook to prove something to him. Anything you want to say about how this match went about?
Yeah, I mean, what was it, like 49 German suplex from Hook on Jericho? Like,
Yeah.
What are we doing? I mean,
It wasn't a
Jericho,
full-on squash match, but it was close.
Jericho does that. He didn't look good in that match. I love Jericho. We talked about Jerry on both of our top 10 lists. I'm just. It might be I might just not like Hook, and every match that he's in, I just will never like. I don't know, but that match did not do it for me. It was a dud. I did not like it.
Yeah, I had that as a dud of a match. I get it. I'm not gonna sit here and trash what they're doing. I know what they're trying to do. They want to paint Hook as a dominant person, but suplex after suplex after suplex after suplex on Chris Jericho, a legend. Yeah, it gives you a little scratch. Chris Jericho gives him his respect afterwards, and then says next week on Dynamite he has a proposition for Hook, so that's something to look forward to. Before we went to commercial break, right after that match, we had a fantastic promo from Adam Cole Bay, kind of tearing down Wardlow a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Wardlow's got to watch your back. He's got to watch his back because we all know you don't want to be friends with Adam Cole. You'd rather be his enemy because if you're his friend, he's going to turn on you at some point. Great promo, though. Great promo. I love the little Freudian slip up on, I'm sure on purpose there.
Yeah.
Saying, you are not the champ now. I love it. Adam Cole's doing his best work, and we need him back in the ring as soon as possible.
Yeah, he told Wardlow, you have one damn job right now, and that is to help Mike Bennett and Taven, I probably said that wrong, defend the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. He has one job, and don't screw it up. Thought that was a good promo. Cut to commercial break, and then we go to, in my opinion, I said it on our top 10 list, the best wrestler in the world, Will Ospreay. He is over as all hell.
Yeah, he's the biggest star in the industry right now. What can you say? He found the hard camp tonight too, so I love it.
Yeah, that was incredible. Just going back and forth, keeping the Bryan Danielson beef going on. That's leading to Dynasty. Can't wait for that. And so Bryan had a match with Shibata, which was a really good match. And so Will Ospreay said, I'll show you what it's like to walk in your boots, because Danielson told Ospreay you couldn't walk in my boots, so Ospreay said I will. He called out Shibata versus Will Ospreay next week on Dynamite. Sure is going to be a banger of a match.
Absolutely. I mean, I've said it in personal conversation with you. I kind of miss that old Bryan Danielson, the workhorse, can go a million miles an hour, hit you with everything, and do the technical side of wrestling and just bring it all together in one big package. I miss that. I think Ospreay is going to bring that out in him. They are going to put on a banger match. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I love Ospreay right now. He knows how to work a crowd. He asked for one thing from the crowd tonight, and that he needs some of that Canadian maple syrup. So I love the guy. And just little things. He cuts amazing promos. He's like, you know why I can't stand in your boots? It's because your boots are too small, mate. Like it's. He's so good. He's on top. He's on top right now. He's the best.
Will Ospreay is the best in my opinion, and I think come Dynasty it'll be him versus Bryan Danielson, and we will see that. And I agree to your point. Bryan Danielson, I do miss that workhorse. We watched the match he had with Zack Sabre Jr. Some people liked it. I get it. If you're really into that holds and technical thing, I wasn't a fan. You weren't a fan. And it kind of made me go, man, that's not what I wanted. The match with Shibata brought it back a little bit. I thought that was a really good match. him versus Osprey should be, and shout out to you know who, but it should be a 5-star match. I don't see how it won't, because I think Will Osprey will really bring out that side of Bryan Danielson. So
100%, 100%.
yeah, I agree. So we had after this the tag match. Toni Storm, the AEW Women's Champion, and Mariah May taking on Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. It was a quick match, quick, decent match. Did what it needed to do.
Yeah, it absolutely did. I love Mariah May coming out in Tony's old ring gear. I love
Yeah,
that. I love that aspect because Mariah May being Tony Storm's #1 fan, it fits 100%.
I'm happy they're sticking to that. I'm happy they didn't go away from that. That it wasn't just a one-off thing when Deonna said she wanted the real Toni Storm and Mariah May came out and dressed like that. That's just been a thing. I'm really happy they're sticking with it.
Yeah, no, this whole angle they got with Tony and Mariah May and Deonna right now, it's some of the best work in the women's division right now. I love it. Deonna looked amazing tonight. The match was very solid for a quick match, but it did what it had to do. And I think, maybe, just maybe, they're setting up a little bit of a Deonna and Thunder Rosa feud in the future.
Yeah, because I don't see the Tony losing the AEW Women's title anytime soon, and maybe there's something there with Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo. I love both of them. I think they're fantastic. Deonna, I've been a fan of since from when she was in her Ring of Honor days, and she's great. And Thunder Rosa is one of the AEW OGs. So shout out to both of them. The finish was a nice little roll up on Toni Storm by Thunder Rosa. So Deonna and Thunder Rosa getting the win. The roll up, smooth, easy, and then there was a little dissension, as you said, setting the seeds between Deonna and Thunder. I think at the end, right before they went to commercial break, they kind of gave knuckles, but other than that, pretty quick, easy match. Cut to commercial, we get the Swerve Open Challenge. We both were watching it, and we both kind of were like, man, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Wasn't who we expected. We'll get to who it was in a second. Who was the first person that came to your mind? Who's going to come out and challenge Swerve?
Right off the hop, I mean, you would think that Heyman would come out and do it, but it could have been anybody. I didn't really have any real expectations on it. I think you were more tuned into what you thought you wanted for that. You're the Swerve guy. I like Swerve. I know you love Swerve. So give me your thoughts on it.
I love Swerve. I thought maybe by chance it was going to be Sammy Guevara coming back, or it could have been Ricky Starks because we hadn't seen Ricky in a while. Sammy was first on the list because I know he was suspended. He did post a pretty heartfelt tweet and made me think maybe he's come back from his suspension. Hangman, I think Hangman's taken some time off, maybe. I don't know. He was kicked out of the Elite, or sorry, suspended from the Elite by the Young Bucks. He wasn't fired like Kenny Omega. But
well, I mean, if Kenny just showed up for work.
Yeah, Kenny, I don't know what he's doing. He needs to show up for work. He's missed so many dates. So honestly, the Young Bucks were justified in firing Kenny from the Elite. It just had to happen. So Swerve Open Challenge, it was the Butcher that came out. The Butcher from Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny. It was, I mean, in what everybody calls in wrestling terms, it was a squash match. Butcher got a couple moves in, but it was really just showcasing Swerve's pretty good. He's pretty damn good in the ring. The finish, though, it was a submission, and the announcers, Tony Schiavone, Taz, and why am I spacing the other guy's name?
Excalibur?
Excalibur. Wow, look at me.
Okay.
I watch wrestling. No, Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz. They were putting over that. That was Swerve's first submission win.
Yeah, well, I mean, I initially thought it being a weird finish. I've never seen Swerve use a submission. I don't think ever. But it makes sense. He's showing Joe that, hey, I got some other things that you might not be expecting. So, yes, overall, the match did what it had to do. I mean, it wasn't a straight-up squash match. Mm-hmm. Butcher is established enough to make Swerve work a bit, but not enough to be a threat. So, right. I mean, it did what it had to do.
Yeah, and I said the submission was kind of like a shot at Joe, like, he said Joe tried to choke me out last week, and so here was a submission. I can make somebody tap too. He then goes on to cut a promo and talks about how he wants to take the chain that he has around his neck and put it around Joe and hang him over the edge of the ropes and squeeze the life out of him. And then he says he couldn't do it because Joe's neck is so damn big. And that prompts, obviously, the AEW World Champion, Samoa Joe, to come out and start talking and say he's going to give Swerve exactly what he wants. He's going to go against the grain. He's going to give him what he wants. But before anything can happen, everybody's favorite Canadian, Don Callis, comes out. And could you hear his promo?
Barely. I mean, if it wasn't for Dominic Mysterio, I say Don Callis has the most heat of anybody in wrestling.
It was so loud.
Unreal. Kudos to Callis, though. He did not miss a beat. He cut his promo right through that. The guy is...
He's so good.
Love him or hate him, the guy has been in the industry for decades, and he knows what he's doing, and he's got nuclear heat. He is exactly what he's supposed to be, and I love it. I love it.
So Callis comes out to the nuclear heat, as you said, powers through the promo, and talks about Takeshita. And says Takeshita, and this is what he said, doesn't have a loss outside of the Don Callis family because Will Ospreay did beat him at Revolution. And says, maybe you need to beat Takeshita, Swerve. And Swerve says, you know what? I'll divide my attention for one night and I will take out Takeshita, and then it's right back to you, Joe. So next week on Dynamite, we have Takeshita versus Swerve. Quite a few matches are already put for next week's Dynamite, and it's looking to be a really good Wednesday night.
Yeah, man. AEW's in a position right now. I've been critical of them, but
yep,
they're in a position right now. They got some of the best talents in the world. They're starting to kill it. They're really starting to find some steam. I want to see them pick it up and keep running with it. We need this as wrestling fans to have more wrestling. They're killing it. And coming out of all that, I mean, Swerve looked amazing. Don Callis looked good. Samoa Joe. I've always said that I just don't think he can go. I'm wrong. The man can go. The guy, he has the charisma. I was wrong about him. I think Joe is amazing. His promo tonight was perfect. His promos over the last month have been amazing. He's looked great in the ring. I didn't think that Hangman Adam Page Swerve Joe match was going to be all that great. It was great. I mean, I was wrong. Joe's killing it.
Joe is a fantastic champion. I think we are going to get Joe Swerve at Dynasty, but we will see as we move forward. And then obviously, so like I said, next week Swerve versus Takeshita. Next week, we'll get to Takeshita match that he had during Rampage after Dynamite wrapped up. But what wrapped up Dynamite was the main event. Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage in an I Quit match in Toronto. And this was what some would call the greatest hits match.
Yes, some would call it that. Let's just take a second to realize Adam Copeland, his music hit, he came out, his music stopped. The crowd, loud, singing that song, his intro, amazing, absolute chills. I mean, so good. Obviously, you know, he's a Canadian boy. The Canadian fans are going to eat it up. They love it. But that was phenomenal. It takes me back to you talking about the time Chris Jericho, the fans saying his music, same thing. That was just amazing.
Yes, I had goosebumps. We were watching. I said, this is a goosebumps moment right here. Just the crowd singing Edge's theme song. And then they're getting to the next verse and Christian's music hits and ruins everything.
Well, classic heel. Yes. Nobody can have fun when a heel's around, especially Christian. One of the best.
Before we get into the match, I brought it up. You've mentioned it a bunch of times. You were the one that mentioned it to me. What is your favorite part about heel Christian that you're noticing?
Come on, he's wearing a cut-off turtleneck. It doesn't get more heel than that. That is Christian's a genius. I love it. It's the best. It's the best. Like, come on, a turtleneck, but it's a cutoff. Like, who does that?
Cut off turtleneck and dead dads. That's Christian Cage. He will turn up the heat. So the match kicks off pretty quick. They are in to the crowd. It is an I Quit match. Anything goes into the crowd, and a very very cool spot here. They file into the penalty box area of the hockey rink, and I was like, oh, they're gonna brawl in there, and then next thing you know, Adam Copeland is pulling off a Boston Bruins jersey off of a fan, putting it on Christian, putting a Maple Leafs jersey on himself, and then they just go at it in the penalty box.
I love this spot. It's a little historically inaccurate, as the Toronto Maple Leafs could never beat the Bruins when it mattered. I'm probably going to get some heat for that myself, but I'm a West Coast boy, so Canucks are where it's at. But yeah, I love the spot. It was amazing. It was cool. They're playing to the crowd. I love it. It was awesome. He jerseyed him. Some uppercuts. Loved it.
And then they filed up the stairs and went into the main concourse area. And Edge took a beer from a fan, took a quick swig, threw the cup, and the next thing you know, where's Christian? Oh, he's in the women's bathroom.
Makes sense.
Heel. He's a heel.
Edge will. Oh, Edge. I'm sorry. I just called him Edge. It's gonna happen. But Adam Copeland won't go in there. No, he's a good Canadian boy. He's not gonna go in the women's washroom.
I'm pretty sure Taz even said Edge. He's like, it's gonna happen. It is. It's Edge. It's Edge. It's Adam Copeland. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So they file out of the bathroom. They eventually get their way back down into the arena, down to the ring. And then we get a couple really cool spots. Edge pulls out a ladder, doesn't really find a spot to, I guess you could say, bridge it until he does get one from the announce table over. The crowd is chanting TLC, and we all know what that means. When Edge and Christian are in a match, TLC, it dates back years to potentially one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time, TLC 2, and just the TLC concept in general.
Yeah, they might as well just call it the Edge and Christian match at this point. It's their calling card. You can't have those two in the match and not have tables, ladders, and chairs show up in one way or another.
And we got all of them through this match. There was a spot with the ladder that we both were like, I've never seen that before.
I don't think anybody's ever seen it before.
The ladder was upside down, and Adam Copeland just picked up Christian Cage and just dropped him in between the legs of the ladder, and it collapsed in on him. I have never seen that.
Such a cool spot. I mean, if it has been done before, awesome. Never seen it. If it hasn't been done before, again, Edge and Christian just changing the game of tables, ladders, and chairs.
Commentary was putting it over that they have never seen it before. And then so it carries on, and they move up the ramp as you do. Edge pulls out a practice net, puts Christian into it, and then he disappears in the back to get what we all know he's going to get, and that is Spike, which he teased last time he was on TV. I think it was Collision. And of course, Christian did put on Twitter, he said, I will be there alone. We knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew he was going to have help. And Mother Wayne comes down and takes the hockey stick right to the balls of Adam Copeland.
Yeah, Mother Wayne doing her thing. I mean, what more can be said about that shot? It was a hockey stick to the balls. That's not going to feel good.
Yep, so Mother Wayne does that, and then it kind of changes the tide for a minute, and then, of course, more show up. It's Nick Wayne, it's Lucha, Killswitch, and beat down of Adam Copeland, and then, of course, he's got backup. It is Danny Garcia and Daddy Magic. Give him a hand, and then a really, really cool coordinated spot. Handcuffs are involved.
Yeah, no, it was good. It eliminated Danny Garcia. I mean, not Danny Garcia. Sorry, Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne from interfering anymore, and then Christian got the handcuffs as well, and then we get to
the main spot. Before we get there, they did pull out the handcuffs for Mother Wayne, and she just ran. She
Oh, of
ran
course.
for it.
She bailed on her son. She's like, I'm out of here. See you
I'm not
later.
into it. I'm into it. So, as Kill Switch and Nick Wayne are handcuffed to the corner posts, Christian is also handcuffed, and Adam Copeland pulls out Spike. And before he pulls out Spike, he kicks
I've
Christian. How
I've
many
never
times?
seen I've never seen so many nut shots in one go ever. That was different. That was I thought you two were friends at one point. I don't think you're going back. I mean, damn.
It was like four consecutive shots to the balls, and then the ball shots don't stop there. He pulls out Spike and right up the nuts, hits him in the nuts. They ask Christian, "Do you quit?" He says no. So what does Adam Copeland do? He does it again. And what does Christian say? No. And then you get to the main spot, which was what?
I quit.
And he says, I quit because Adam Copeland was going to use Spike and quote unquote spike him in the head with it. Edge, Adam Copeland, wins the TNT Championship officially for the second time, technically. TNT champion celebrates in the ring. Overall, it was a great match. It is a good I Quit match, and it's honestly, it's almost like that could have been a pay-per-view match.
100%. Christian and Adam are gonna absolutely kill it in the ring together
Right.
every time. The history, they know each other so well.
And they're back in Canada, so they're gonna do it for
They
them.
they put on they put on a great match. It was exciting start to finish. It had all the spots you'd want to see in a hardcore match and a not quit match. So good. I love those two. I love that they're still going, and I love that they can still have matches against each other. I personally still want to see them back together, but this is just as good. Just seeing those two in the ring, it's amazing.
So that is the wrap of AEW Dynamite. Overall, I think it was a really good show. It was good to see a sold out crowd. The crowd was really into it. And then we transitioned directly into there was actually, I don't know if it was on your screen or as it was on mine. The screen went black for just a second, and then everything switched from AEW Dynamite to Rampage. We went right into AEW Rampage.
Yeah, that was right around those nutshot moments that did that.
Yep, right into Rampage. Gave Adam Copeland his time to celebrate, and we get Renee Paquette saying, "Welcome to AEW Rampage, Canada," and we get a video promo from Bullet Club Gold, the Bang Bang Gang, and they are taking some shots at Darby Allin. This is something you actually, I guess, joked about, kind of. We're like, what if what if it's a spot to Dart, and it happened. And are you proud of yourself?
No, I'm not proud of it. Yeah, of course I'm proud of myself. I knew it. I didn't know that he had broken his foot early in the match there in one spot, but when they brought up the chair to the ankle, I'm like going, oh, they're spinning this. They're going to break his ankle. He's not going to climb Everest. They're doing it. I love it. And then it happened. I was like, oh, well, perfect. I love it. I love it.
So the Bang Bang Gang's quote is there, "We saved your life, Darby. We saved your life from climbing Mount Everest. We saved you." Uh, uh, Jay White had Sting's bat and painted it gold. That was awfully disrespectful. If I hope it's not the bat that Darby had. That'd be kind of, Actually, you know what? Maybe it is. That's heel. That's a heel for you.
That's gonna get you some. That's gonna get you some heat.
So yeah, I thought it was a really good promo. I'm a big fan of the Bang Bang Gang. I love Jay White. Hopefully, this leads to more and more pushing of Jay White. And then after that, we get the Scissor Gang, the Acclaim, Max Caster and Bowens. They cut a promo. It was a good promo. I wasn't fully into it. They were just saying, screw you guys. You turned your back on us, but you can't hang with us. That's why you're not here. You're in Florida. We're in Toronto. We come to the show. You guys are scared of us. The usual promo of where you at? We're here. You're not because you're scared. got a good cheer, gave a nice middle finger to the Bang Bang Gang. And just that's building for that. That's building for that nice feud that Acclaimed and Bang Bang Gang are going to have. Before we transition from that, though, I saw it on Twitter. I didn't see it watching it live. A little Juice Robinson sighting in the background of Jay White cutting his promo.
Yeah, no, that's intriguing.
Good news. It's good
that
news.
is good. Juice is awesome. I love Juice.
Hopefully that means we get Juice Robinson back soon enough. The first match on Rampage, the best friends, Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy versus the Don Callis' family, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Kyle Fletcher. Every time I see Orange Cassidy, I'm impressed. And this is maybe you'll disagree with me here. I think I was more impressed with Powerhouse Hobbs and Kyle Fletcher in this match.
Hobbs and Fletcher, they look good. Yeah, they look good. Not much more to say there, other than my love of Cassidy.
Yeah.
He quietly goes about his business. He wrestles every week. His in-ring style, that sloth style, I love it. It's so perfect. His music's a banger. Everything about him is he keeps moving up my list, or whatever.
We'll do a top 5. Maybe we can stretch it to 10 of our AEW wrestlers we like. We'll do that eventually, and I'm sure Cassidy's going to be up there, probably in your top 5. So the best friends do pick up the win. That was just a good match. It was a really good match to me. The action was quick. It was good. Great match by those guys. And then with a Rampage, it's only an hour, so you're getting match after match. You're getting quick. Not really many promos split up in between. We come back to Shibata coming off his match with Bryan Danielson. Almost said Daniel Bryan. It's going to happen. Bryan Danielson and Shibata last time out on Collision. Shibata is a match with Kevin Matthews, and I wrote on my notes, a.k.a. it was a chopper.
Yeah. As soon as his name popped up between Kevin Matthews, first match in AEW, you know which way that one's going. Let's just go back to that best friends match for one quick second. I just gotta say, Trent Beretta, he's looking good as ever. I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, looking good as ever, and gotta bring it up. The old Roppongi Vice combo with Rocky Romero there, and we'll get to Rocky Romero in a second. But I'm loving seeing Trent Beretta being back at the top of his game. It's good. But yeah, that Shibata Kevin Matthews match, we all knew where that was going. It was a squash. It was over. I think Matthews had one piece of offense, and that was it.
And a jobber, it's not. I don't use, and I hope the wrestling community doesn't use jobber in a derogatory manner. If you're on AEW and you're going against someone like Shibata, you're going to get squashed, sure, in this situation, but you had to have done something to get some recognition. So Kevin Matthews, I hope he's having a good career wherever he's at, and I think it's just really cool. It's probably really cool for him. I'll tell you what, I would go into a ring and get squashed by Shibata, Takeshita, anyone. Just be cool. Your name is you're on national television.
Are you sure you want to get squashed by Takeshita? That might hurt.
No, but we will go ahead and get into Takeshita versus Rocky Romero. I didn't actually take a lot of notes for this match because it was just so good. It was Takeshita is really good in the ring. He's got a very bright future. He's got Swerve next week. I'm interested to see how that match goes. But the match overall was good. Rocky Romero was fantastic. You pointed it out.
Rocky Romero, I don't know if he has bad matches. Going back to his New Japan days again, Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, they killed it over there as a tag team. And every time I see Rocky Romero in the ring, I'm impressed. I don't think he puts on a bad match. But yeah, you're right. I didn't take a lot of notes either. I was really invested in that match. Romero and Takeshita went hard. They put on a great match, and yeah, they killed it. Takeshita, I said it a couple months back. Can't remember who he was wrestling, but I'm like, this guy is good. Mm-hmm. And then that Ospreay Takeshita match, I mean.
Yeah, that match at
Proved it.
Revolution was
Proved it.
fantastic. The main event of Rampage was a banger of a match. Julia Hart, the TBS champion, and Sky Blue taking on Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. Where do you want to start with this match?
Well, let's just start with Julia's entrance. Might be one of the best in wrestling. It sets the tone right off the hop. Love Julia Hart. I love everybody in this match. I was impressed. Let's just put it that way. I wasn't expecting it. Banner. They killed it. Absolutely killed it. Such a great match.
Yeah, so we had a couple spots I wrote down. Sky Blue hitting her finisher, the Code Blue on the table, which is a sunset flip power bomb. It was incredible to see. She got hit with a spike by Julia Hart on accident, kind of got a little bleeding going there. Then the tax got brought out by Sky Blue, and people on Twitter were, "Oh, here we go, hardcore street fight. Sky Blue has arrived," and I was like, "Well, okay." And then the tax get pulled out by Sky Blue. Chris Statlander pulls out a bag of tax and drops him on the mat, and the top rope power bomb onto the tax by Chris Statlander. What a spot!
Oh, I felt bad for Chris. That looked like it hurt. Unreal. I wasn't expecting that. Let's also mention, Sky Blue, little cheeky Nando's action in the corner there as well. That was pretty cool.
She did. And Sky Blue, the few matches I've seen of hers, she's moving up in my list of like favorite women's wrestlers. And in this match really put her higher and higher on that list. She was really good in the hardcore spots. I think that might be her element. I maybe need to educate myself more on what she's done, but that match, she was fantastic. They were all fantastic, but Sky Blue, if I was taking an MVP,
she stood out.
And then the other spot I have, Willow Nightingale put Sky Blue through two tables with a Death Valley driver from the ropes, or from the apron. That was a really cool spot. And then you get to the finish. Julia Hart locks in the submission finisher she has. Chris Statlander taps out. Julia Hart, Sky Blue, victorious over Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. I don't think there was really a loser in this match.
No, they all came out on top of that. They all looked like superstars after that match. A couple other spots that you didn't mention that kind of stood out to me was Sky putting the tax into Chris's mouth. And then super kicking her. Like, come on. That's different. I mean, so they're doing a lot of cool stuff. They're trying different things, and it worked. And you said it. I agree. Chris does a 450, like,
yeah. I feel like I did know that, but I'd forgotten about it because I haven't seen it in so long. And then she went to hit the 450, she missed it, hit the chairs, but she's not tiny. She's not like what you would consider a high flyer build. She is athletic as all hell. Chris Statlander, fantastic, and that's what I said. All of them in this match looked great. And if I had to pick an MVP, I think Sky Blue stood out the most. When she hit her finisher on the table, that was fantastic. And then the hardcore spots with the tags. Overall, fantastic match. Overall, really good Rampage. And from start to finish, from Dynamite to Rampage, I thought this was just a really good night for AEW.
It was one of those nights, and they have their moments. I mean, they're building, and they're getting better, and I love it. But it was 3 hours of wrestling that I was able to sit, watch, and not feel like I need them to hurry up, if that makes sense. I wanted to savor the whole show. It was that good.
All right. Well, that is our wrap-up for All Elite Wrestling, Dynamite, and Rampage from Wednesday, March 20th. Really good show start to finish. Hopefully we're going to put these things out. We're going to try and record after every show we watch, and just a quick little recap of what was going on, what we thought about it, our opinions on it, And for anyone that watches, if you have an opinion, you're more than welcome to share it. I think opinions are awesome. I love hearing everybody's opinions, and I stand by what I've said before is I love when all wrestling is good. It's great for everybody. And tonight was a really good night for AEW. We will get back after it. SmackDown Friday. Looking forward to that show. And yeah, that's all I got for All Elite Wrestling Wednesday night, Dynamite and Rampage. Anything you want to add?
No, you covered it up pretty good. I'm just happy that we're doing this. It's been fun so far, and I can't wait to look towards the future and keep doing this because honestly, this is what we love to do. We love to talk about wrestling, so we're going to talk about it as much as we can, and we hope that we find some people that enjoy what we talk about.
100%. So for those of you that give us a listen, we appreciate you so much. We would give a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the bell, all whatever the content creators say. Just show some love if you give a watch and give us your opinion on if you watched the show, if you liked it, if you hated it, what you really liked, what you didn't like. All opinions are welcome. And in the words of RK, what would we be if we were in the Tokyo Dome?
This would be a 5-star podcast if we were in the Tokyo Dome. Haha.